We live in a time where the flow of information is constant, with competing voices in crowded spaces, where old school thoughts meet new school ideas.
We are constantly having to recreate ourselves. To understand these identities, we need to decipher the culture. This is unconventional. This is Lounge Academics.
Yes, Karl C.
What's going on, brother? What's going on? Man's got, you know what? I was chuckling. You call me mid-chuckle when I saw the Iron Man T-shirt. Guys, I've got the Banksy thing. It's not quite like Art Deco. You know what I mean?
That's right, bro. Listen, you know how we do, King. I went to make sure, bro, that I was stressed for the occasion. You follow me?
Bro, and can I just say from the top, I love your show. I love what Lounge Academics has done. So I'm overjoyed. I'm honored to be part of the Lounge Academics experience. So
yeah, thank you, bro. No, respect to you, King. It's great to have you here. And I know we connected through online, through social media, through LinkedIn, actually.
Yeah.
So, and this is what this platform is about. You know, it doesn't matter the journey. We're all about quality and people that are doing great stuff in the community and impacting on people's lives. You understand, bro? So without further ado, what I want to do is, in terms of the format, as we know, we kick into 5 minutes, which basically is your opportunity to let our viewers know who you are, what you do, what it's about. And then we just flow in a dialogue after that, basically, King. Yeah? Yeah, wicked, bro. Okay, bro. So over to you, Karl, sir.
This is like back in the day when I used to rap, man. I feel like the same. My palms are sweaty, you know what I mean? So who I am. Who am I, should I say? My name is Karl C Pupe. I am the author of the Action Hero Teacher Classroom Management Made Simple and the founder of actionheroteacher.com. What does that all mean, ladies and gentlemen? So what I do is I basically train teachers, schools and institutions how to manage behavior and how to talk to their young people in a holistic way. Okay. Now, the main drive of why I want to do this is because sadly, for many people, especially from the BAME community or the black community, let's just say black community, from the black community, the school experience has not changed very much from the time I was going to school in the 80s and 90s. It's the same issues. It's the same things that are happening. And unfortunately, I didn't really have anybody. I used to get in trouble in school myself. You know, I almost got thrown out of school fighting. And I never had anybody who could really understand me, who could really talk to me. Yeah. I only discovered mentors or getting mentored when I was in uni. And I always thought to myself, you know, what if I could get that mentorship early? Where could I have been? Because I shouldn't say, but, I fell amongst the wrong crowd, should I say.
Yeah.
And a mentor, my Uncle Eric, I hope he's on, I don't know if he's on, but my Uncle Eric, who was kind of like, look, you can do better, you can be better, all right? And what was funny was, after he mentored me, I just said, how can I ever thank you? And he said to me, do for others what I did for you. You just pass it down the chain. All right. And that's what I dedicated my life to. So I'm passing it down the chain, trying to mentor these young people. And I discovered again that a lot of, and we'll probably get into that as the show goes on, teachers need some extra they need some extra help in handling pupils. And again, we'll go into that. I was a former NEETs coordinator. Basically, I dealt with all the bad kids, the ones that got kicked out of school at least twice. They ended up in something called alternative provision. And I was the manager there, and I did that for about 5 years. So it was very, very interesting. And when I went into mainstream schooling, which I'll explain later, a lot of my colleagues were like, you're so amazing. You spoke to this kid. How did you do it? How did you do it? And I'm like, I spoke this way and that way, but because I got the training, right? I worked with great therapists and all manner of people, youth offending team, and they trained me. And that's what helped me. So I thought, you know what, let me put that into all my experience into a book. What makes what I wrote different to just say any other behavior management book is that I didn't just look in my field in education. I looked at everything. I looked from psychology, sales, entertainment, hypnotism, NLP, everything that I could find, because I've worked a number of different jobs in my lifetime, and I've been in a number of different situations. And I found that in different situations, whether I was battle rapping or trying to sell, I used to sell roof lines and windows. Don't ask. You had to handle the pressure. So I thought, you know what, rather than just dealing with it from a completely clinical academic look, let me bring in everything. Everything's being researched, like everything's being, you know, cited. But I want to write in a way that anybody, literally anyone can pick it up and read it. They're not going to fall asleep. I don't know, Kevin, if you've been like through that university experience and you're reading some of those books and you're just like, you know them ones.
Yeah, bruv. I'm in the uni. That's my context, bruv. But yeah.
Exactly. So I wanted to write something that I said a 5-year-old, well, not a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, a year 7 child should be able to read this and understand what I'm saying. And yeah, it's just kind of blown up from there. I wrote it in 2011. I've been asked to speak in various different places. I've done work for the NEU, which is National Education Union, which is the largest of any kind in the UK. And it's the largest teaching union as well. I've been asked to speak on many different panels. Then I founded actionheroteacher.com. I've got a blog running off there. I've got quite a big Twitter following as well. And things are just blowing up, man. Things are just blowing up. I mean, so my dream client obviously would be I can't even think for some reason. The Department of Education. That's my dream client. I'll go to Gavin Williamson and say, come. Put my arm around him. I say, come. Got to sort this out, man. Got to sort this out with the kids. That's my dream client. My cream client would be, just say, an academy of schools. So just say so an academy, well, I shouldn't say all academy, but a trust, should I say. So a trust is a group of schools under one banner, like the Harris Academy or something like that. That would be my cream client. That would make me happy for a month. But my bread and butter is basically, my bread and butter would be, usually I work with individual schools, individual teachers. I consult, I work with youth organizations as well. And yeah, there's many other type of stuff. So yeah, the education system does need to be disruptive, especially in light of what's happened with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter. And that's where I wrote a blog post, which kind of blew up about George Floyd and the experience of Black people. And it's put it more in the spotlight. So yeah, it's urgently needed, man.
Wow. Well, bro, you did that in less than 5 minutes, King, and still you're blowing everybody away because I'm seeing the comments that's radiating as you're talking, King. So already there's a number of people that are resonating with what you're saying because maybe they've come through that experience themselves. I know Yaz was saying that's my story, that whole exclusion story, winding up in alternate provision and having those kind of challenges there. So that really resonated for her. And also just your audacity for just keeping things transparent, real and committed to the cause, man. Because I'm hearing obviously from what you've just said, you've crossed over into a number of different careers or different jobs and stuff that you've held over the years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess one question that jumps out to me, first and foremost, is how have you applied those stuff? So I've already can see where it will play a part, but I want to know how have you physically or practically applied that to your work and what you're doing?
What? So all my different experiences?
Yeah, because I'm hearing you as a back, bro. You used to rap, you used to do various things. You worked in sales. You talk about psychology, NLP. I'm hearing the list went on, bro. So how does that apply to your action hero approach? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I didn't come into teaching. I know I've got a baby face and all that. Teaching was my second career. I call my book writing my third career. So before that, boy, I've done so many things. So before that, I was a rapper, I was a promoter, I was a music producer. I worked with various different people down the line. You know, the sad thing with music, when I come into the music game, I just call it my luck. I came into music game as digital started to take off. So I won't mention names, but there were famous people that I was looking at and say, you ain't got no money. All the clothing and the cars, it's not theirs. Trust me. So I was
them hired ones.
Exactly. How am I gonna kind of? Because obviously I've got to. At that time, I had a girlfriend, and I was like, listen, we can't eat beans on toast forever. You know what I'm saying? So I've always had a kind of gift for the gab. So I went into sales. And I went into sales. I did that for a while. I worked for British Telecom. I was an account manager. So I used to, and the thing with when you enter those sales jobs, it wasn't like sales, like, you know, little like broadband. I'm talking about VPNs. I'm talking about if you like a big head office, it would be me that whole head office. So we're talking about, you know, the actual wires that go under the building. selling to them, £1 million turnover and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I got like, I call it the ninjutsu kung fu of sales. And what
Yeah.
if you enter them sales, like even stock traders and that, they get this
Yeah.
psychology. I hated sales before I did it, but it was the psychology, because all sales is human psychology and how the mind works.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got into it, and then 2008 happened. And I don't know if you remember that the credit crunch happened.
The crash. Yeah. The recession.
It's kind of like now, how we're all feeling now. It was like that. That's why I laugh when I think about what's happening in 2020. The only two experiences I can think of was September 11th and 2008. So when 2008 happened, people, I don't know if you cast your mind back, everyone thought the world was going to end. The economy, the world economy.
Yeah. Computers were going to crash. Everything was just going to implode. Yeah.
Exactly. So being me, I looked around and they basically said, look, we're going to restructure. Okay. I love the way they use euphemisms in work. We're going to restructure and streamline, which basically means people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
So they said to me, basically, look, we can give you a bit of a redundancy, and, you know, it will tide you over for a couple of months still, you know, or you can go through the re-interview process, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah, you get come at the other end too.
I looked at my chances. I said, nah, give me the money. Give me the money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll be a millionaire when they reach a certain, it's like, you got 32 grand. You want to go to the mills at now?
Yeah.
32. No, it wasn't 32, but it was a nice piece of money that gave
Yeah.
Right. And ironically, no one kept their job. So I jumped ship. Everyone thought I was mad, but then my friends were like, we got made redundant and we got no redundancy package. So then I went into youth work. So I kind of fell into
Okay.
So I went into youth work, and again, I was working in a number of studios, and I was working with some of the roughest guys. You know them guys that come in bellies and all them type of things there, and it's like, right, you know.
Whatever the season is, summer, them man are all got hood on their head. Them man zipped up to their chin. Yeah.
How can you be wearing an Averix in summer? All Averix, and you're like, take it off. Nah, man.
Nah, man, I'm cool. Man's not hot. You understand?
It was one of them ones. So they were like, look, we need somebody that can talk to them and whatever. You know your way around the studio. So I kind of set up recording for them, and I was coaching them, and they were like, you know, why don't you get your teaching qualification while you're doing this? And I had a ball. I loved it because I was talking to young people, I was mentoring. And to cut a very, very long story short, I worked my way up to something called a needs coordinator. So I was like a manager. So I run a center. I run a center for NEETs, which means not in employment, education, or training. So basically, these guys left school with no GCSEs. These guys have probably been kicked out of 2 institutions. These guys were what we call high touch, which basically means they are at the what we call a vulnerable group. If we don't intervene, if we don't get them in an education or get them into work, these are the guys that are going to end up frozen. Hello.
I think you're coming back, bro. I can hear you.
Right.
Oh yeah, you frozen that.
You can see that nice.
What's going on, bro? You there? Yeah, you come back, bro. You're there. I see you, Karl. I see you. Hey, Karl, why can't I hear you? What's going on? What's going on? Why is this thing dipped? You see, the devil's a liar. Wow. Anyway, I guess everyone else can still see me, yeah? Karl's just dropped out. I don't know what's happened, but he's literally just dropped out. He's coming back in again. We're going to try and do this and re-establish that. Let's see what's going to happen now, but it should be cool. Karl, what happened, man? Did you get a call? It may have to start again. I hear that. Thanks, Greenie.
You hear me?
Yes, Karl. What happened, bro? Did you get a call? Greenie's like, yo, you got a call, you know. You must have got a call.
No calls, man. No calls. You know, Versus, the big show.
Yeah.
It goes wrong for them all the time. So
yeah.
After it, we have to live with it as well. Even they can't get it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is live TV, folks. I don't know what you call.
Yeah, that's right. So you got into
I
neat, you became needs coordinator. Yeah, yeah.
I became a needs coordinator. So to cut a really long story short, became a needs coordinator. So I was in charge of designing something called the schemes of work and the curriculum. So as I was saying, these guys were disengaged from school. They don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
They don't want education. And these guys are going to end up in gangs, or they're going to end up on
Yeah,
drugs.
yeah.
Their life path is completely messed up. So I had to design a way of engaging them and talking to them. So I read all the academic books and whatnot. But boy, when people are throwing a chair at you, that academic book is not going to protect you.
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to cut it. No.
Not work. So I had to rely on all my skills that I learned previously.
Yeah.
And that is kind of what happened. And that was the birth of it. I did that for a while. But I don't know if you remember when austerity hit, when the Conservatives under David Cameron were like, look, we need to pull the purse strings.
And he's chatting about this big society and that we all must start volunteering and all this foolishness. Yeah.
Not for us, bro.
Yeah.
I remember going in the centre, and I'll never forget this. It's like our funding's been pulled. We've got a month left, so we've got a month to wrap up. But you know, a lot of these guys, so there's something called YOT, which is Youth Offending Team. So these guys were like a watch list, for want of a better word, from the police. So they come from either families or they're associates of known criminals. So the police would
the gang matrix, innit? Gang nominals.
That's the
to
one.
be honest, Carl, people are gonna laugh at this. Me and you, there is a mirror effect here, because the paths that we've come to, although you kind of fell into youth work, that's my background. And actually, I can see the period in which you're talking, there's overlap in our careers. So I was working with the gang matrix and the whole Ending Gangs and Serious Youth Violence initiative. I was a project coordinator. So how you was doing the neat stuff, I was doing the equivalent in Tower Hamlets and various other boroughs. So yeah, so I totally, But this is great listening for our guests, man.
Yeah, no, I worked in the Isle of Dogs, so I wasn't too far away from you, man.
My God, wow. So you, look at this, that's deep, you know. Yeah, so a lot of that, Are you frozen again, Carl, man?
What is happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
It's too much fire, man.
It's freezing and dropping out all the time, man. You might have to disconnect and come back in, bro. Oh no, actually you're here. Oh no, like you've cut out again. Oh, this is crazy. Oh no. It's dropped off. Okay, so he's dropped off. I'm sure he's going to reconnect again. Tell me something, people. Are you feeling what you're hearing, though? Because we're talking about young people. We're talking about our future. We're talking about the next generation. Let me know if, obviously, what you're hearing, the conversation, what he's dropping is all good and you're feeling it. Let me know, let me know, let me know. It'd be good to see some kind of hearts, some fire emojis or anything. I see Greenie's just like, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. You know what I mean? I want to see some fire emojis. Yaz has come on with the Wi-Fi. It's a shame, really, but the connection obviously is proving to be a bit tricky for him. But just to summarize, I know some people have just started to join the conversation. We have been talking about effectively working with young people and supporting young people and the effects that that's had. And basically, we're just finding out about our action hero, who is Karl, to tell us a little bit more about his work and what he's doing, okay? But he's trying to come back on now, so let's reconnect him. See, one more time. Let's go, let's go. We're going to go for a fourth time lucky.
Apologies. Listen, don't worry. I've had a change. You know, I've changed the substitution, so I've got another phone. Yeah. So
okay, cool.
See if it's a phone issue. So I'm hoping, because it's a better phone, I'm hoping this should be more stable. Apologies to the guests. I hope you guys.
No problem, man. People are engaged and feeling it, man. They're feeling what you're dropping. So yeah, bro. So we were just kind of connecting about the mirror effect, man, and how we have kind of similar paths in terms of the work that we've been involved in. And you were saying that you were just down the road in the Isle of Dogs when I was doing some of this in Tower Hamlets.
Yeah. It was
so I was popular and all that. Yeah. Serious, popular, man.
Yeah. So I know all about that, man. And obviously, being from East London, I had a unique viewpoint on what was happening. What you might call it? So they cut the. So I think what I was saying was they cut the They cut the funding. Austerity kicked
Yeah.
in. I had a month left of funding. At the time, I had my I had something called my QTLS, which basically I was a fully qualified
Yeah.
teacher.
Qualified
So I was like,
status, yeah.
so I was like, I'm gonna be jobless. But I remember saying to my colleague when we were walking out of the centre for the last time, I just said, look, there's gonna be blood on the streets. There's gonna be blood on the streets because we were. It's like the Men in Black. We were the first and only line of defence to stop them from dying. Seriously, man, all I needed was the sunglasses.
Look, bro, I love the way. I love you dropping the popular culture and all that references, you know, the only line of defense was going mib, you know.
I have to, man. I have to, but you know what? Sadly, what I started to notice was, it did start to increase. All the street violence, in a weird way, the silver lining with COVID is it stopped the street violence. Because I remember before COVID, it was getting bad. We were breaking records every single year. Yeah. And it's because the government cut all the funding for the projects that you and I probably were doing. And we were talking to these young people. So I went into mainstream schooling. And it was weird because it was kind of like, I don't know if you watch them Kung Fu movies. And you know where there's the guy that walks into town and he doesn't want to even be involved. And he's like, oh, help.
And people want to pick fight with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was dealing with situations and they were like, how do you do it? We've never seen anything like this. And I kept on getting this.
Yeah.
So I did supply teaching. Before I settled into a school, I did supply teaching. So all the schools were calling me back. It's like, right. So you know how it is with the supply teaching.
Yeah.
They're going to get yam. Most of the time they get yam. You're a lamb walking into the lines then.
Yeah, of course.
You're going to know this as well. When a supply teacher comes, it's like, yeah. You get me? It's game time. It's game time. Let's destroy this man's life.
Of course.
I mean,
real talk.
I was going in there and they were like, raw, like, this is the most difficult class in the school. And the classroom ain't broken up. You know, everything's intact. They're listening to you. So a school heard of me. I got hired by the school. But a lot of my colleagues were like, how do you do it? So then in 2018, I was like, all right, I've got to drop this in a book. But ironically, when I spoke to another teaching friend about the book, he said to me, I said, look, I want to do this. And he goes, don't write the book. And I said, why? And it was another black guy. And he said, because they're not going to take you seriously because you're a black man. They're not going to take you seriously. So don't even waste your time writing the book. So for me, if you know me, well, for your viewers, obviously people don't know what I'm about. But if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go do it.
You're going to do it.
I'm stubborn like that, man. I'm stubborn like that. But when I went to go and do research on other black authors or anybody, the only guy I could find was a guy called Dr. Tony Sewell. Okay.
Yeah. Back in the day, Hackney.
Exactly. So Dr. Tony Sewell was, was the only guy.
Black child genius and stuff.
Yeah. There was nobody else. So I thought, this is ridiculous, right? In 2018 at the time, there's only one male black author about education. Can't be right. So I said, you know what, I'm going to be number 2. And I don't mind being number 2 to Tony Sewell. Yeah. So after a lot of, research and stuff, I dropped the book and it just went crazy. It absolutely went crazy. You know, so it's
and ultimately, in terms of the book basically provides tips and guidance to around classroom management and kind of, I guess, that equitable, inclusive, working with young people in difficult places, right?
Yeah, because the thing is with a lot of academic books, the problem that you have with that is that when I was doing my research and from my experience being NEET coordinator, a lot of our practice is informed by psychologists. But a psychologist, it's like saying, because you're a good cricketer will make you a good baseball player, or because you're a good tennis player makes you a good badminton player, right? So the problem you've got is that a lot of the techniques that they were giving was in a different environment. It's one-to-one. You've got an hour with the child. It will work. But if you've got 30 kids in a classroom, 30 divided by 60 minutes, you've got 2 minutes. So you've got to solve problem. And I say this to teachers all the time. You've got to give me something that's going to work in 2 minutes. Because if I want to try and spend an hour, I remember going to one training and a psychologist was like, if a child is playing up in your classroom, just stop the class and go for a walk. You know, go walk around the school with the child.
With them mad
ones. Are you mad, bro? I wanted to, but I was like, I'm in a professional environment. I couldn't say that.
You can't. That ain't gonna work here.
It's not gonna work because when you come back to the class, it's gonna be like Jumanji, me. It's gonna be like Jumanji, rhinoceros, gorilla, everything coming out. The class is gonna.
Bro, you consume too much popular culture, and I'm speaking to myself when I say that. Because these references you're dropping, I shouldn't even know them, bro. I feel shame to be owning that. Do you get me?
So it's one of them. It was one of them ones where it was like, what can I give you right now? So that's what the book, even the book's design, if you saw it, it's basically, it's not a reading book. It's not a story book. It's got sections.
Yeah.
So it's got my theory. So I put a theory called Trust Mountain in there, which is my theory. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
And then
I like that. Yeah. Own that, bruv.
Yeah. You know, inventions. Jumanji, LOL.
Yeah.
It's true. But then I've separated the book into 3 sections: the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good is what we call positive reinforcement. These are strategies that you can use. And again, they're all 5 minutes you can master them to make the learner feel good or your student feel good. Then you've got the bad, which is what I call minor disruptions, talking, chattering, giggling. Yeah. How do you deal with that? Yeah. And then we've got the ugly, which is severe disruptions. I mean, if you've got Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in your class.
Yeah, dashing chairs across the room and that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be like, okay, settle down, children. The chair's going to hit you on your head.
Yeah.
You'll be concussed. So I've got sections. So each one is there. So people can literally pick up the book and flick through. So what I say to the people is read the theory. So the first 2 sections are theory, psychological theory, and then pick the bits you want. Because I don't want it to be a book that just becomes a paperweight. You know what I mean? Something you read,
or just doesn't come off the shelf. Yeah.
Exactly. So
totally. No, I hear that.
Yeah. So that's
definitely. And I think what I'm hearing from you as well, and I guess in terms of the book, obviously people are able to grab hold of that book now. And it's I guess is this, I know you're focusing on a classroom environment, but I'd imagine the book is also adaptable for even parents, maybe if they're thinking about that with their children or guardians or whatever. Yeah.
Everybody. If you've got a young person in your house, you can buy the book. As I said, one of the greatest compliments that was paid to me was they said, look, I'm not even a teacher, but I loved your book. And I thought, wow, that is what I was able to do. You know, it's funny. You can tell I use a lot of humor. It's funny. It's I didn't want it to be dry. I mean, I went through 10 drafts. It took me a year to do this because it's very easy in our field as teachers to go really, really academic and really deep into pedagogy and all that type of stuff. So I had to literally strip that all away and say, can an 11-year-old child really understand? And it's a lot harder. So, if you've got a young person in your house, so I talk about emotional hijacking. So in our field, it's called emotional dysregulation for the psychologists out there. So basically, emotional hijack is where you go into a state called fight, flight, or freeze. So if you're, see something very threatening towards you. So if you saw a tiger, you'll naturally, you'll have a whole heap of hormones that will come into your system. And you know what I mean? And that will make you act erratic. So unfortunately for teenagers, because their hormonal system is maturing and growing, and the frontal cortex of their brain is not matured, the thinking part of their brain, in fact, the thinking part of your brain doesn't mature until you're in your 30s. That's why you can look back in your 30s and think, why did I do that? Why did I go to this place? Why did I go to that roof? Why was he my friend? Because your thinking part of your brain has turned on. So we have to deal with emotional hijack. It's a moody teenagers, moody young people. So a lot of teachers are like, what's his problem? He's on drugs. I tell that all the time. He's literally on drugs. The hormones that are in his system are making him act irrationally. So you as a teacher or a parent have to model how to regulate your system. So I talk all about that. So if you've got a young, because sometimes having a young person,
so all that kind of tricking the brain, training the brain also, in terms of recognizing certain triggers and how you respond appropriately and teaching the brain new strategies and whatever effectively to how to respond to certain situations. And I just want to highlight, I mean, it's already coming up. Thanks to the community, there's so much love. So people have already been inquiring about how they can get hold of your book. I think you've already got it on Amazon from what I can see. That's rolling up. Someone's put a link there as well. But also, how can people connect with you, bro? As some people, because I know some people dip in and out, and I'm worried about your line, bro.
No,
my held it so far.
It's blessed. But I've changed the personnel. Get me substitutes.
That's cool, bro. That's what you got to do.
Put an Uber.
Yeah.
So if you want to reach out to me, put a bam. If you want to reach out to me, the best way to get at me is my website. So really quickly, I've off the back of the book, I've now developed a website with some blogs. I've got some interactive stuff on there. So actionheroteacher.com. So if you go into my it's my Insta, actionheroteacher.com. You can, to be fair, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not really as big on Insta as I am on Twitter. I'm sure you've seen me on Twitter. I'm more of a Twitterer. So the best way to link up or contact me is through Twitter. So it's Action Hero Teach. It wouldn't allow me to have the ER. So Action Hero Teach. But so yeah, you know how Twitter is. Action Hero Teach. You can reach me there. And that's probably the best way, through Twitter, because I'm quite available. I'm always on there. Insta, brilliant. Just add me, but I've had to put a block, so I can't, because some of my kids found out, and I was like, nah, man's not.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, man. That's the difficult terrain, innit? Because when they see you like, right, this sir, right, they start adding you and try to connect you through other channels. Man, got to keep boundaries and all that. But they
wouldn't violate me. It's not about a violate. It's not a violation. But obviously, because I'm still at school, I have to. I have to. If they know about
policy.
It, I have to do it. So
of course. It's policy and looking at that and internet usage and how that works. Yeah, I hear about that, man. I don't envy you at all. I don't envy you at all with that, man. But I guess what's interesting, because I know also, obviously, we've heard a great deal of your background and how that's kind of played a part in who you are and also what you bring. Do you understand? Effectively to your teaching approach and how you do things. And I love that way of talking about where you mentioned having your own theory. I love that, and we need to be doing that a bit more. And I guess this is what moves us on into another part of the conversation, where I'm quite interested to hear about your views currently happening in the world at the moment with, you know, the whole Black Lives Matters movement, what's happening with George Floyd, racism, COVID-19. There's a whirlwind of things that's happening at the moment, and people are under immense pressure. We as melanated people have been thrusted into the public limelight in a way that is just crazy, and we're getting assaulted from left, right and center, you know, whether it's the far right, center, or wherever it comes from. We're under a great deal of scrutiny at the moment, and all for the wrong reasons. How has this played into your practice and into your work at the moment? How are you responding to these issues?
Yeah, these are really serious issues. I'm glad you kind of raised that. I mean, obviously, as a person of color or a black person, we have always been aware of what has been going on. We have always known what has been going on. I like what Will Smith said about it, because they asked him, what do you think about, you know, all this violence and whatnot? And he goes, you know, did you always know? And he goes, it's not, he goes, we've always known, it's just being filmed. You know, it's just being filmed. And the sad thing is that, not the sad thing, I think that the sliver of hope from the George Floyd thing is now people are becoming more aware of the inequality. It's kind of ripped that meritocratic thing of, oh, black people, stop complaining about things. You know, it's a fair society and everything is nice.
Yeah, just work harder. Yeah,
just work harder. You know, why are you complaining? Or the classical, if you don't like it so much, just go home. It doesn't work that way. How it plays into what I deal with is that we know that, unfortunately, like with most spheres or every sphere in our Western society, education, unfortunately, does suffer from systemic discrimination. You know, some of the statistics are just quite frightening. I mean, in fact, I'm going to pose a question to you. Now, there's 491,000, almost 500,000 teachers in the UK, right? In a percent, how many of them do you think are head teachers? Black, just black, not
black,
Asian.
Bruv, we ain't even talking 2%, bruv. We didn't even touch that, bruv. I'm serious.
I'll give you the percentage. It's 0.9%.
Damn, I was generous.
in the country, exactly.
I was generous, bruv.
So that in a percent is something the equivalent of 200 in the whole of the UK. In a population of 75 million people, only 200 of them are black head teachers. So if me as a teacher wanted to become a head teacher, I've got a 1% chance of becoming a head teacher. And this is 2020. And if you don't believe me, come on my thing and I'll show you all. This is government statistics.
That don't surprise me, man.
Yeah, I'll give you some other statistics. We as black people, not Asians, and again, I'm not.
African diaspora, African heritage. Of
course. We make up in this country 7% of the population, but we only make up something like 1.5 to 2% of the teaching population. Okay. Another statistic is that if you look at children in schools, okay, Black children, Black Afro-Caribbean, Black African, and mixed race children are 4 times more likely to be excluded from school. If you
Yeah.
add this with the traveler community, the Roma Gypsy community, half of all exclusions will be just those 2 races by themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something called it's the school to prison pipeline.
It's prison
I don't
pipeline.
know if you've ever heard of that, right? So 50%.
Yeah, definitely aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah, 50%.
But it'd be good just for purposes of for them to know. I know we know, but
sorry. So just to break it down, there's a theory that which you applied. No, I shouldn't say applied. Started off in America, which is basic, but it's mirrored here, saying that children that get excluded are basically your chances of if you get excluded from school, you are 50% more likely to go to jail. So they call it the school to prison pipeline. Okay, so if we know that 4 times our people, Black, Afro-Caribbean, African, mixed race children are being excluded, we know that we're putting them on a course to prison or putting them on a course to death. If you look at the fresh statistics from 2019, if you look at most youth offending institutes, so that means anybody that's committed a crime between the age of 10 to 18, you go into youth offenders. You wouldn't go into mainstream prison.
Yeah, straight.
Half of all youth offenders are from the Black community, not the Asian community, not BAME. I'm talking just the Black community.
Yeah.
50% of all youth offenders. And when you go into the main prisons, it's 26%. Oh, so it falls away. But again, if you're looking at a population of 5 to 7%, we are really represented in these statistics, the prison statistics. And that's the problem. And that's why I'm passionate about what we do. And how this plays into my work is that I always feel if we can stop them from getting excluded, we can stop them from going to prison, for most of them.
Yeah.
And that's the key. And the reason why a lot of these, and again, from Dr. Tony Sewell's work, Black Masculinities, which was a big influence on my book, it was said that
definitely. He talks about
racism.
the typographies, definitely.
Exactly.
And he produces the kind of typographies of the type and how young boys had to adapt to the system. He talked about the rude boy and certain ways to survive, to actually move on. But also that became a kind of compounding negative self-fulfilling prophecy. Because in a way, although we found our own lane as young Black boys to kind of progress, what that did was for obviously mainstream white folk, we got othered. We became those that were most disruptive in class, or those that went on. And we know that there are harsher penalties for young men, Black students and those of color. We know this straight. And I guess given what's happening at the moment with George Floyd and everything that's happening around the world, how do you see, so for example, in my context, I'm in education and I work predominantly with adults. So I'm in higher education, I kind of work with students and academics and specialists in my kind of sphere, hence Lounge Academics and why we have these conversations. But I wondered, as part of your own experience, because right now we're focusing on this whole curriculum for racial justice or educations for social justice, so where we're challenging some of the injustices that happen. Can you see, especially given the current climate, do you see there's been all talks around decolonizing the curriculum, pulling down statues? We've seen so many things happening. How do you see this rippling or filtering down to your sphere of influence or in your circles with young people at all? Or do you see, if any relevance?
I think it's a good start. I think because the problem that you've got, right, is, and I say this all the time, you can't be what you can't see. All right. Do we wonder why our children want to be footballers? Now look at the people the media put up as the leaders of our community. If you look at any other race of people, they'll have so you know what's interesting? Go and watch like Question Time or Newsnight. I always find it fascinating. What they will do, they'll say, okay, we're going to talk about coronavirus. We've got this doctor from LSE. We've got this specialist from here. We've got this professor. We've got
European white,
and we've got rude boy badman from now. I'm not disrespecting anybody, so I don't want Stormzy or anybody to come at me or Raheem Sterling. It's fantastic that they're using their platform to speak, but what I'm saying is that if, as a community, all we're ever seeing
Yeah.
as our leaders are footballers and rappers, then of course the children are going to aspire to be that. Why would they
Yeah.
not put the spotlight on educators, on
Yeah.
professors,
Educators,
on business
scientists,
people? You
lawyers.
know,
Yeah.
exactly.
Entrepreneurs.
So
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah.
yes. So that's a start in terms of the curriculum, because the problem is when you show people, I hate this, like even in school I still flinch to this day when they start talking about, oh, slavery and civil rights. Like that's the only, that's the only history we've ever had.
Yeah.
It
That we
makes me
know.
flinch.
Yeah.
And I remember correcting a teacher. They were talking about Captain Cook's discovered Australia in 1642.
Yeah.
He didn't discover Australia.
Yeah.
Australia was already there, mate.
Yeah.
He landed in
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah, he landed.
Yeah.
But don't say he discovered. I
Yeah.
get
That's
really
when he
touchy.
landed, bro. Yeah.
He landed there, and he they talk about us being looters, and you went and looted the country, brevs. I'm
Yeah.
not being funny. That's what you did. You went there and said, it's my country now.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes me, and that's what we've got to be shown. We've got to be shown all sides. So they teach about empire and the industrial revolution, but people don't realize the industrial revolution was literally built off our backs, man. It was
Yeah.
literally built
Yeah. Of
off our
course.
backs.
Of course.
There wouldn't be an
And
industrial revolution without
but equally
colonization.
as well, what I'm not feeling, and this kind of adds to the conversation. I had an earlier conversation. I think it was with Yaz actually. He's online with us now. We was talking about. I don't like this idea of our history being limited to one of a colonial one as well, right? That's part of it. But when you look at Kemet, when you look at our ancestors, right?
Mansa Musa.
You know what I mean? We look into our African ancestry. We are kings and queens. You understand? Empires ruled. So I feel it's important that we stress that as well, because I don't like this kind of deficit of slavery, or that it was just through this colonial
exactly
kind of
colonial
era. Do you
empire.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because
Yeah,
the thing is,
yeah,
the problem that
totally.
you've got is, this is what concerns me. Everybody's waving the banner about decolonizing the curriculum, but how far are you
Yeah.
going to go? Because what I think is
Yeah.
going to happen, maybe I'm being a bit cynical, what they'll do, because the thing is, if they go really deep into it, there's going to be, I don't know if you guys are trying to, there's a program on Channel 4 called the school that's trying to end racism or something like that. I saw clips of it, and basically what they've got is they've got a special
Okay,
program
not heard
from
of that.
America. Yeah, it's a good, everybody needs to go and watch it if you like that. And basically what they've done is they've taken,
Yeah.
there's a special program where they're introducing children to white privilege. And they got obviously white kids and black kids in class, and they're talking about these things. And you see that a lot of these children, the white children, are crying because they're saying this is unfair, that people are being discriminated against and whatnot, what have you. And when I watched the clips of it, I thought in my head is, if they go too far with it, they can't take it too far, because then it destabilizes everything, which is what Britain is. Britain's called Great Britain. But if you go too deep into it, people start to question, is Britain really that great, or do we steal the greatness from other people?
Be that great.
Exactly. So what I think is going to happen,
Built on slavery, rape, and robbery. So
exactly. So what I think is going to happen personally is, I reckon they're probably just going to put another unit on Kemet, or maybe just, one or two units. But I don't think things are going to change, because unfortunately, again, and maybe slightly controversially, we need to have an economic base. Somebody in your comments said that, we need to have our own schools. And that is where it goes down to. Money drives. We're in a capitalist society, I'm afraid, guys. We're not in a socialist society. Money, as the great Wu-Tang and Method Man
we're in a
said,
capitalist
everything
society.
around me, cream, get the money. Dollar bill. That's what
real talk. Dollar bills, y'all.
Exactly.
Totally.
So if you look at the way that we navigate, nothing's. We've got to attack it from different. It's not only education. It's got to be in media. It's got to be in politics. It's got to be in every single facet of society. And that's where I feel like I'm hopeful to change, but it's a radical change that needs to happen.
Yeah, I think that's what's needed.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think if we as individuals need to be more of a collective and need to speak. And again, being pro-black, before people start saying, "Oh, are you anti-white? Are you racist?"
Yeah.
No. I'm not racist. I believe
pro-black isn't anti-white, man.
I believe in representation. So I'll explain. That thing.
Yeah.
Debate with one of my colleagues.
Yeah.
you can't be
Yeah, I hear you.
of teachers.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many issues with that. So I believe in equality and I believe in representation. And I think that we're going to take a massive shift. Maybe this is the start of that shift. But unfortunately,
Yeah,
come on, we've
definitely.
lived long enough. There's been
Oh,
riots all the
wow.
time. This is not going to, 2011 was about injustice.
Yeah. We, we've been told, Circle, we're saying that the sound is gone. Oh, no, it's back now. Yeah, it's been crazy. No, it's come. I think it's come back now. People are saying that they can hear. But what I want to do, what I can see, bro, Carl, I need to get you back on again because I'm thinking time is against us. But this has been so
Of course.
rich, and people, the comments that I'm seeing. I mean, love to everybody. People are saying that this has just been perfect. But now we've been notified that the sound's gone again. But I don't know what's happening. But I'm
Yeah.
sure I'll be told and informed if it's gone. But it may be back, I don't know.
Can you hear
But
me,
let me
guys?
know, Yaz, what's happening. Can you hear us? Give us
Can you
something
hear
if you
me?
can hear us.
Anybody? Come back. Can you hear us?
Has it come back, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, continue. Yeah, some
Yeah,
people saying
okay.
continue.
I think we can hear you. Yeah, cool, it's back. So they're saying continue. Okay, nice. Thanks, Yaz. Okay, so what I wanted to do is obviously people that have just joined us, right? Because I know some people dropped in at parts and they were asking about how to get hold of the book and stuff. So before we lose that again, if you could just if you let but we could do it again. We could give them a little part two. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of the books and stuff, where can people get hold of you if they want to get in contact with you, and where can they get your book, Carl? Okay, cool, man. So you've just put that up as well. So the only thing, but I think I've thrown up as well. Yeah, action hero teacher. Yeah, brilliant. So we've put that up there. Brilliant. That's great, man. And also, I just wanted to check, was there any questions from anybody at all? Saying sound has gone again. Yeah. If it's just you, bro. That's he's dropped out. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Just out of interest. Just wanted to check because Carl's connection it's got grabbed him again. So this is the section. This is a part of the show where okay, so you can hear me but not Carl. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know, yes. So what I'm gonna do here, right? If there's anybody that wants to jump on, yeah, let me know, right? So we can jump on if there's any comments that you want to make. If there was anything that was pretty teachable from Carl that you feel that was really helpful and that you benefited and you just want to say that, let me know. Join me now. It would be good for you to jump in. I'm going to bring Carl in as well. I know, Carl, you're there. But normally at this part of the section, what we do is this part of the show is we invite people to come on unless they've got anything to say or any questions that they want to pose right now to join. Maybe there was something that Carl said that touched you. There's some further links that you want to get. There's something that you just maybe want to share on the topic. This is your time to join me and come live because this is a part of the Lounge Academics experience. This is what we do. If we had our physical meetup, we would be out there and people would be having that microphone and speaking and chatting. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take it that nobody wants to jump on. So I'll bring Carl back on then. If no one's gonna jump in and doesn't have any questions, we'll go back to Carl and bring him in and see what's happening. Big up, Carl. Love what you're doing. Paper pages, nice. Saying big up, big up. So Carl, okay, Carl, bro. So Yeah,
I'm
you're
here.
back in now. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So it sounds there. So we've got literally, bruv, just a few minutes left.
Cool.
So what I think would be really good is I guess this first and foremost, thank you, man. This has just been a powerful conversation. And as I always find with Lounge Academics, we run out of time. Like when we start flowing, we start chatting, everyone's like, rah, rah, rah. Next thing you know, an hour's done.
It's
So I
all
just want to first say respect to you, bruv. We
Thank
need
you.
more
Respect.
kings
Thank
like
you.
you out in the community. It is great to hear a brother out there that is doing his thing and is speaking in ways that is uplifting each other and our young black men and boys. It's so important. So I
Thank you, bro.
salute you, sir. I thank you for your ingenuity, for your brilliance, bruv. Because I think as men and as brothers, we do not big up each other enough. So I just wanted to say respect to you for that. A question did come up. Thanks, Yaz has just told me that someone's posed a question to you, Carl.
Go for it.
Do you visit other schools? Do
Hell yeah.
you? Yeah,
Yeah, hell yeah. That's me.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
yeah.
I think there's a
Go,
slight
no,
delay.
go, Carl. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, no problem because I'm a bit like a slight delay. Yeah, I visit other schools. So just hit me up, email me, talk to me what you need. We can work out a package or whatnot, or yeah, just hit me up and talk to me, and then we'll talk. But yeah, I visit other schools. I've got a conference for the NEU. I was meant to have a proper conference, speak at their national conference. Very, very proud of that. Sorry, a bit of a plug there. But obviously, Mr. COVID-19 here.
Yeah, of course, bro. If you got a plug, go for it, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I was meant to speak at the conference. There's a lot of speaking gigs. So again, the best way to know what I'm doing and where I'm speaking is head on to my website, actioneroteacher.com. Go to my Twitter because I'm very, very active in that community, and that will tell you everything. But yeah, I do go and speak in schools. I do offer trainings. I'm offering a number of trainings in July and August. So I'm about.
Brilliant.
So yeah, just hit me up.
Okay, brilliant, bro. No, that's great. Thank you, King. I just want to first say respect for you coming online. Like I said, it's been a really insightful conversation. I'm seeing the hearts. People have really engaged and loved what you've had to say, bro. So I salute you, and I'm sure we're going to be working again together at some point in the future, kind of bringing you on. We normally would do physical meetups and stuff, but obviously, as you said, COVID kind of cancelled that temporarily. But we continue, we persevere, we press on. But what I just want to say is big up to you, man. Respect for that. If there's a final message that you have, bruv, just to leave people with at all. Yeah, definitely.
Talking about all this type of stuff. I'm so glad it was helpful. God bless you lot.
Yeah.
Keep on supporting our young people. That's my message. But do you guys put it in the comments? Do you guys want a Zoom? Do you want like a longer one, a part 2? You tell us. It's got.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna look to. Yeah. Trust me, it's you know what, bro? We're gonna do a Zoom thing. To be fair, because what we're planning, you fit very nicely into some of the because we're gonna have some themed conversations. Yeah, so I feel that you'd be brilliant for that. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do that. Everyone's saying yes, yes, yes. We want some more. Do you know what I mean? So he said we didn't hear any of that, but don't worry. We are gonna we're gonna do a Zoom thing and we're gonna talk, man, and sort that out. But what I will say to our guests as well, because I think people can hear me, I don't think they're really hearing you too clear. So what I'll say is we are going to continue with the conversation, speaking on behalf of Carl right now, and we are going to do a Zoom meetup. And I'm just kind of like translator right now for you, brother, an interpreter. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we're going to do. You must have Sky Broadband. Sorry, people are funny. But what I'll say is, if you want to tune into our stuff, for people, please check out our back catalogue of stuff at YouTube, Lounge Academics. You can check our back catalogue if you're interested in getting the older videos and connecting. But also, if you are interested in jumping on and being part of 5 minutes of Disrupt, what are you waiting for? Come on, join us, submit, email, do your thing, hit us up and let us know, right? If you want to join, because you could be just where Karl is to kind of join the conversation. So I'm glad you found this supportive. I hope it was inspiring. I hope it was eye-opening. I just hope that this just, yeah, made your evening, because I found this conversation really insightful and powerful, you know. So respect to Karl once again, man. Thank you, bro. I see the delay, bro. You were all rocking the thing. You just caught up with me and he's gone again. So, oh gosh, what a night. Internet has not served us well, man. Hasn't served us well. But look, you've all been brilliant. It's been absolutely emotional. Love the conversation. Like I said, check out YouTube, follow us, and share. Please share this content. If you feel that there's stuff that we're doing each week that is great, that is inspiring, and other people need to be a part of this conversation, be sure to share.